Hello my friends, this is Saif, and today we are talking about the 3 C's in game development. So developing a video game is a huge task on its own and could seem absolutely overwhelming when you don't know how to prioritize your tasks and think about what should come first. Well, if you plan to develop a game that is based around one main character you control most of the time, I would recommend to stick with the 3 C's first. What are the 3 C's? It stands for camera, character and controls. And these are the basic pillars of your game. Today we are starting with the first C, the character. I will explain what to consider when designing a main character for a game and also why it is so important to start with it. This leads us to a question. What makes a good character? First of all, you have to get to know the following sentence. Form follows function. What does this mean? It means that the character's look should fit to the abilities or behavior he or she has. So the outer form should be a hint to the characteristics, the traits, and also the abilities of the character. For example, you want to have a flying character, why not put a jetpack on his back or equip the character with jet boots? If you want to do this, then also the character should wear these things. Let me give you another example. Imagine a fighting adventure game where a Spartan goes full on rage mode to kill all Greek gods. Yeah, I'm talking about Kratos. So he's an angry warrior, so you should make him look angry. Due to his warrior status, he of course has a trained and athletic body and is also equipped with weapons, that are his famous deadly forearm chain blades. And he has a shaved head because hair would make no sense when he swings his blades. With long hair, for example, Kratos would have to fear that hair straws get caught between the chain links while fighting. So that's why he looks how he looks. And as another example or additional example, let's take a look at our character for current gaming project Courier, which is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi game where you play a messenger in the far future that has to travel fast between shielded cities, the last refugees of mankind, and face the dangers of alien plants and rusty city ruins between these cities. So that's why you would expect an athletic character that is capable of running long tracks and has lightweight equipment like the running tights of our character, some good and robust shoes or boots, and maybe a white hoodie in which it's easy to move, but it's also a little protective. Also, there is a light backpack on her back for data and goods she delivers, but it can't be too big or heavy because it's kind of a speedrun game and you're more of a fast-paced courier. Also, we wanted to build in grapple hook and a wall slide, which would really hurt with no special equipment on her arm. So we gave our main character a robotic arm that explains why she can do this kind of superhuman stuff. She also has a dash and a double jump and can accomplish this because she has little augmentations in the palm of her hands to shoot air out in a boost. This gives her her speed boost and it works a little bit like the Iron Man suit. And she can also respawn, so we put a respawn module in her neck that creates a backup via satellite of her every time she reaches a checkpoint. When she dies, this copy backup of her appears at the last reach checkpoint. This is basically a module in her neck. Yeah, we definitely took the Netflix series Altered Carbon as a reference for that. So hope now you get a little bit clearer expression how to do character design that makes sense and fits the game mechanics and abilities. And of course, it also should consider the traits and background story of the main character. So you got a character maybe already in mind. What to do now? I would say, no matter if you can draw or not, start with a good silhouette. Every great character can be recognized by only its silhouette. So take the colors away and show only black color. I will give you some examples here in the following. Look at these 1, 2, 3 characters. I bet most of you instantly know which characters they are. And yes, it's Mario, Sonic and Mickey Mouse. But why are these characters, or better said, these silhouettes, so recognizable? Well, the easier and less complex the shape, the better the character is in terms of recognizability. For understanding this, we will have to go back in time. Remember being a baby and learning to see the world through basic shapes like triangle, circle and rectangle? No? Of course not. So let's get back to these shapes and go back to basics. What we of course remember is this game where you have to put the forms into the right shapes here. So the secret is, let's take a photo. Let's look at this photo or at this composition and try to read first the basic shapes or find the basic shapes in there. You see these forms? These are the basics and you have to learn to see in this negative. Details later and big shapes first. To understand this better, let's talk about the shapes each on its own. For example, the rectangle is often used for really heavy and static characters. They are bulk, not really agile, and often similar to rock. Then we have triangles, which is also because of the sharpness often used for evil characters. For evil and also thin characters, but also used for some dynamic impression. Like here in our runner concept, you can see in the negative space a lot of triangles, which creates some dynamic in the picture. For the last one, this circle, it's basically used to make characters look like friendly or cute. If we go back to our silhouettes, we will see Super Mario is basically just made of bean-like circles, which makes him super adorable and also friendly. Sonic contains also circles, but if we take a closer look, you will also see some rectangles for his strong legs and also some triangles, which represent the spikes because he's a hedgehog. You also have Mickey Mouse, which is also basically most made of circles. And the good thing for everyone out there who thinks he cannot draw or be not creative, well, if you look at these best characters, it's super easy and even children can copy such a character easily. So maybe look first for some simplicity to create a good character. Don't overcomplicate it. We can also see this modern example of a good character, which is Hollow Knight, which is basically just a rounded rectangle, a triangle, some triangles like here for the sword and the cloak. Then we have some rounded horns with triangles on the end of it for some detail and circles which represent his eyes. Of course, the more realistic you want to create a character, the less you see these exaggerated shapes. So for our character, we still have this in some nuances, but not like Super Mario or Hedgehog. If we look at our main character for our game, we see kind of a rectangle for which is represented by her cropped hoodie, but we see also a lot round forms. Her robot arm is a little bit rectangle, but her legs, her head and also her braids are basically just circles. We want to give her a fit but also a really friendly look, so that's why but also a consistent and strong look, so that's why many friendly shapes in there. Hopefully this gives a good first impression of the first pillar of these so-called 3 C's, the character. But think of the following: the character is always your starting point. You want to create a big enemy. How can we call it big? Yeah, because you have a comparison to the main character. So when you have the main character, you can build the rest of the world, like small enemies, big hazards, small hazards. Everything is compared to the main character. So start with this, and then you can move on. Next week we will go to the next C, which is the camera.